All right, everybody. I'm going to take you through a walkthrough since it's quarantine. Figure you might as well use your time to learn something new. So this is something I do a lot of times when I'm going out to eat. I'll fold up a dollar bill to make a origami frog. It's pretty easy to learn how to do it. It's just a couple of steps, and you can get one of these done in a few minutes once you get the hang of it. So really all you need is a buck or a 5 or a 10, whatever floats your boat. But that's all you really need to do it. So I'll walk you through, and you can use the time during this socially distant time to learn how to do something. So here we go. First order of business is you want to have a dollar bill that's relatively crisp. It doesn't have to be new, but a lot of times it's easier to follow the folds when it gets once it's newer like this. So let's just walk through. So first order of business, get this top corner, kind of pull it down here, and what we're doing is we're making the beak of the frog. So that's the first step. All we're really doing for this first step is gonna be looking for that one crease. You see it? Next order of business, take the other side and run it up here. And you're just going to take it so that way you can see the little tent fold. See that? So that's the first step, just getting these two creases. That's the 1 and 2, just so you can really follow it. Now what you're going to want to do next is take the corner and bring it right over to the other fold, just like that. Okay, so now you can see that first fold, the second fold, and we're just using those folds as guides. So now we're just making the first real true fold of this little job. Okay, now once you do that, we're just going to go ahead, take the corners, and pinch them in. See that? That's all we're doing. We're going to use those folds that we just used before, that we just made before. And we can do that now to fold it up. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Okay. So that's the first step. And that's really all you need to do to start. So here, just to show you one more time, we're going to bring the one side over to make that crease, the other side over to make the crease. We're going to follow just by bringing the edges together, and then once you get the edges, we're going to make 1 and 2. And this, you can't really tell now, but that's going to become the frog's head right there. Okay, next order of business, we're going to take this end, we're going to bring it over, and just fold it flat. Now it looks almost like a little house. Okay, so just going to fold it over just like that. Now, if you look at it from the side, we're going to take this little edge, bring it down, just to make a little crease. And we're going to do the same thing here, just so it gets a little bit more flexible, a little bit easier to use, because we're going to need that in a few minutes. Okay, so let's fold this first little corner, and here, just so it's really clear, so we're just going to fold this first corner down, and now this whole side we're going to bring across. Okay, so let's bring this down. Okay, just like that, just bring it down. So again, just to see, so from where we started, this whole side comes down, this one piece comes over, and we're going to bring this corner down. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Bring this one out, bring this corner down, and we're going to fold that nice and crisp. Okay, so now when you look, we have the two edges here folded down. Now it almost looks like an arrow if you're really looking at it. Still doesn't really look much like a frog, I see, but it will soon enough. Okay, so now I'm just going to take a minute to just make these a little bit crisper. I'm just using the back of a fingernail. You don't have to. When you're in a rush, if you're in a restaurant, leaving it for a gratuity here, you would just go really quick, and you can get faster and faster at it. And usually you could get done within a few seconds. Okay, this one takes a little bit of finesse. Now, when you look at these two edges here, these are going to become the back legs. So to get it started, what we're going to need to do, I'm going to start off a little another pinch fold. We're going to want this edge here to line up with this edge here. So let's do a little pinch fold here so you can see. Okay, see what I'm trying to do there? Just a little pinch. And what I'm doing is making that back leg. Okay? So you can see where we started. Just bring it down and do a little pinch fold. Do the same thing over here. We're going to want this edge and this edge to line up. Okay, there you go. So there is a little pinch fold. Now if you look, we're getting closer and closer to having a little frog here. So now, those two pinch folds, we're just going to come across and just going to fold them down here. So when you do that, now it's starting to look a little bit more like a frog. I kind of lost a little bit of that edge here, so I'm just going to curl that back in and get it looking more like a pinch fold, because we do want it to be as crisp as possible. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing over here too, just so it's nice and crisp. I almost feel like I'm taking my time here, but I know you guys, if you've never done it before, you're going to want to learn. Okay? So you remember when we first started, it looked like that arrow. Now it's getting closer and closer to looking like a frog. We're not quite there yet, but let's do the last couple steps. So let's again just make everything real nice and crisp. So I'm just going to flatten everything out real crisp. You got to be careful, because see, some of these flattening, as you get older bills, if they're not quite as crisp, they're really easy to bend and fold. So when you look, now we're nice and crisp. Same thing here, nice and crisp, nice and crisp. There we go. Look at that. So now, next order of business, if we think we're done, we're not done yet. So now we have to do some legs, okay? So we're going to go back to the top, okay? So let's look at these. And the way that you make the little legs here, you come across and you just give it a little bend, a little fold, press it down. That's one leg. See that? It starts looking like a leg. Let's do the same thing for this side. Just give it a little bend. There we go. There we go. And now you got another little leg right there. Okay? Remember the back feet. These become the back feet over here. Oh, I'm not really super happy with the way this front leg turned out. So let's flatten it out a little bit so it gets a little bit more uniform. So it's a little bit more symmetric. Last thing you want is a asymmetric frog. Okay, getting close. Go to these back feet now. I'm going to come across. And we're just going to give it a little bend right here. It's going to be a pretty crisp fold because it's going to have to support the weight of the whole frog. Okay, one more time. I'm going to come to this side and just, there's nothing really super magical about it. We're just coming and just bending it over. Now, there's a lot of layers of bill here, so you're going to always lose a little bit of that sharpness. But try your best. Just give it a little press. Okay, and now we're close. Kind of looking like a frog, right? But we're not quite there yet. Okay, last little thing. We should come right to the letter N here, and see how there's a little N? What we're going to want to do is bend it backwards. The whole thing. Going to bend it backwards and fold it precisely right on top of itself. Real crisp. Now you might think, oh, look at that. It's getting a little bent. It doesn't matter. This is going to be on the bottom side of the frog. Okay? Once you bend it, you're going to accordion flap one more time. Okay. And with that little accordion flap, now we have something that looks close to a frog. Last little step here, we just gotta fluff them up a little bit. Okay, there you go. And now, here's our little jumping frog. There you have it. So now when you leave this as a tip, sometimes people are a little bit more impressed on it, but some people might say it's fun, some people might say it's corny, but it's one more thing to just add to your skill set. I don't think you'll save the world with it, but it's a fun thing to do. There's your frog. Good luck trying to make one.